Hi, I'm Jill from June Taylor with another innovative solution. Did you ever want to join your quilt blocks that are made quilt as you go? Now we have a perfect way to do that with our Sash and a Dash. It's pre-sewn sashing. It's sold by the yard in 7 colors with matching binding. Open the casing and nest your quilt block inside the casing. And then we're just going to run a top stitch down the edge. Take your next block, open the casing, and just do the same thing. To join rows, we're going to do the same thing, only we're going to run our Sash and a Dash across the row. You can run a beautiful embroidery stitch down here to embellish Sash and a Dash, or you can even put a strip of fabric down here. Here's an example where we added a fabric strip by folding under raw edges and top stitching over Sash and a Dash. And if you like to make t-shirt quilts, go ahead and quilt your blocks and then join them with Sash and a Dash.
An enigma is said to be something that is mysterious, puzzling, or hard to understand. But the Go Enigma Star 10-inch finished block and board, or bot die, makes a simply celestial block that is easy for quilters of any skill level to understand. It's easy to see how this classic and challenging looking block earned its name, but with the Go die by your side, you'll soon be cutting 3 color blocks in just one pass through any Go cutter, including the Go Me. The Enigma Star block is full of motion and is as exciting laid flat as it is set on point. This die is perfect for creating twinkling projects like throw quilts and wall hangings. Try combining it with project dies like the Go Mini Oven Mitt. This die will light the way to exploring new and creative ways to discover a galaxy of projects. Because at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time so you can quilt more. Hey quilters, today I'm going to show you how to cut and sew a block from the Go Enigma Star die. Hey quilters, it's Pam Heller from AccuQuilt. Thanks so much for joining me today. Okay, first of all, I'm going to give everybody kind of a public service announcement. Here in Nebraska, we are expecting blizzard conditions on Wednesday morning. So this show is actually pre-recorded and it's going to be played on Wednesday at 12 noon Central Time. Now, keep in mind that our staff who work remotely can still answer questions for you. So if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments section and our team will answer them. Also, because it's pre-recorded, Chris will not be joining me today, but we still will have a winner at the end of the show. So today, because this is such a cool block, I really wanted to make sure that we did a great show on how to cut and sew the block and put it together. So here it is. Here is the Go Enigma Star. This is one of the colorways that you can use to make it. And I love this die. I love it. Probably it's my new second favorite die. Morning Star always going to be my first. But I love the fact that it's going to be able to take lots of different pieces and create this really cool looking block. So this is a block that we're going to cut and sew today. This is from the Modern Enigma Star. It's a free pattern at AccuQuilt.com. And I used, I know you're going to find this hard to believe, grunge. And this black is not really black. I really wanted something a little bit different, so it's charcoal, which I think is super cool. All right, so let's look at this die and talk about it. All right, so first of all, this die is on a 6x20 or 6x24 die board. So it's gonna fit through all of our cutters, including that Go Me. It has 6 distinct shapes that would really be difficult to cut by hand. We have specialized dog ears. Look at those. We've screen printed letters to help you keep track of your pieces. And quilters, I'm gonna show you some tips and tricks about this block because you really truly do want to keep track of your pieces. All right, quilters, so let's lay our fabric out on our die. We followed the pattern instructions and subcut our fabric. So here's our squares. Remember, these are quarter square triangles. Shape C and D. Now, this is E. This is super important. You want to read the instructions, cut the rectangle, and have all your fabric facing up, and I'll show you why in just a few minutes. Half square triangles, and then shape G, you can just fan fold back and forth. Remember, we can always cut up to 6 layers of cotton fabric in one pass through the cutter. All right, let's get a 6x24 mat and cut. Here's what I learned about this, quilters. I don't have to make as many blocks as we do for, normally, you know, we do a lot of blocks. This one just has a few, like 9. All right, now I'm gonna run it through my Go Big, but of course I could use my Go fabric cutter or my Go Me. When it gets to the other side, it's just gonna stop. If you do not have your Go Big die catcher, you wanna make sure you get one. It just slides in and out, and you can put your power brick in there. All right. All right, so let's go slide our mat off and talk about our shapes. All right, move this over here. All right, so here's those squares for the corner. I notice I already have some stacks of shapes, which is great. Okay. Remember, quilters, these are quarter square triangles, and they're tiny little. I'm going to talk about these, so I'm keeping them separate. And these are half square triangles, shape F. So look, I have a stack of them here. You kind of want to do a little math or just follow the pattern. It'll tell you how many of each shape to cut. You just want to do a little math so you're not cutting more than you need. All right, so now I want to show you this because how this fits together is important. All right. So this is shape E. And here's the sides that it makes, right? It makes a left and a right. And the pattern is correct. It's going to tell you to take one of these tiny little half square triangles, okay? And we're going to sew them to the right side, and then we're going to take this piece, this quarter square triangle, a big one, and we're going to sew it to the left side, okay? Now, how you sew it together is important. And here's, notice, when I'm just going to take one so you can see, okay? When I put this together, right sides together, it fits perfectly. If I try to take this quarter square triangle and add it to this side piece, look at this. There's that 1/4 inch. And the reason it doesn't work is because it's meant to sew to this larger triangle, okay? So how you sew it together is important. And I just realized I need one more, so I'm going to just cut one more real quick. Don't forget, quilters, this is kind of a cool thing because sometimes I forget to do things. So now I can just cut one shape if I want, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Don't forget, if you have questions, put them in our comments section. Notice this piece is faced up. Put them in the comments section, and our team will answer your questions. Okay. All right, now we have all the sides we need because I have one already sewn. This is a great chain piecing project. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So we're going to start here in the middle, okay? And we're going to sew this pink shape triangle to the large half square triangle. These are quarter square triangles, remember? And you just need 4. So I'm just going to do 1 so you can see how it looks. And then I'm going to show you how to put your center together. I'm going to tell you, quilters, the best, most important thing to remember is you just want to press your seams open. There's a lot of bulk. All right, you're going to notice I have a different machine today. This is my brother machine that I use at home. And the reason I brought it is because it has a good 1/4 inch foot and it has a single needle hole plate. So my fabric isn't going to bunch up, okay? All right, so now we need 4 of these for the center, and I really do like to lay out all of my pieces, okay? Okay, and we'll keep that one there. And then look, what we're going to do is to the right of it, we're going to sew this other rectangle. These two are not the same shape. Look at that. Okay. So this is shape C, and this is shape G. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line them up, and look how perfect they're going to line up right there. And I'm just going to come down a 1/4 inch seam. So I'm going to do some chain piecing here. Don't forget, this is the March Die to Try, so you can pick it up from your local AccuQuilt retailer, or you can order it from us online at AccuQuilt.com. All right, just doing some good chain piecing. And I'll do this last one, so we have all 4. All right. Okay. So now watch how I'm going to do this. Oh, that was exciting, throwing pieces around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, and again, I'm just going to press my seams open. So you just want to give it a little press, kind of set that seam, and press my seams open. Take the time to sew a perfect seam and take the time to press. You know, there's nothing worse than looking in the back of a block and, you know, it hasn't been pressed well. It's just not going to line up straight. Okay. All right. So I've done the first 3, my other one's still in here. So here's now what I'm going to do. I'm going to lay out my pieces. So I'm making this center block, right? So actually what you're going to have are 2 halves. And boy, howdy, you want to make sure you lay them out correctly. Okay? So now I'm going to sew these 2 halves together. And they're going to lay really nicely because I've pressed my seams open. You want to make sure you get a good point there in the center. Okay? Take your time. This is such a cool block. And our experts had such great ideas for different ways to use it. All right. Okay, and now this one goes here. I'm going to tell you for sure to make a test block. Just, it helps me to kind of keep track of my pieces and how to lay them out. Okay. Now, once I've sewn my 2 halves together, and they're kind of offset, so you kind of messes you up for a minute, I'm going to actually press them in opposite directions so that my seams nest. So I'm going to press this one down towards, I'm going to press this one up. And the other one I'll press down. So this one goes up, give it a good, this one goes down. Okay, so now look, we have that great 1/4 inch seam in the center, so we're gonna get good points. All right, so I'm gonna line up my fabric. Everything works perfectly because I've sewn a 1/4 inch seam. All righty, look at that. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here to the center and I'm going to press that center seam open. That will also help keep your points together and make them stay nice and straight. Boy, I don't know if you can hear that, but here in Omaha at the moment, we are having thunderstorms and pouring down rain, which apparently is going to turn to snow. Okay, so there's my center square. All right, so now let's talk about these outside pieces. And again, I have a little sample here. You want to line up your lefts and your right, and I just need 3 of them. And I'm going to come here. Okay. And how you sew them to the end is important, because you kind of want to think you're going to sew them, you know, by the long end, but it's actually the side. So right here. Okay? So I'm going to put my right sides together. And again, a great chain piecing. And you know you join it on the right side if the piece fits. All right. Now on this side, this is where we're going to add these triangles. So again, I just need 3. We're going to put right sides together, and you're going to see, look, how perfect that lines up. Okay? Now in this case, how I pressed towards the pink, because when you come to that center, you want your little half square triangles to line up, or quarter square triangles. Okay? Okay. All right, pressing towards the pink. Hey, while I'm pressing, I want to give a huge shout out to all the folks that I saw at Sew Expo this past weekend. I was up in Seattle at the Issaquah Sewing booth. Hi, Mo and Eddie. We had such a great time, and I met so many great quilters who live there in the Pacific Northwest. So thanks for coming by the booth to say hi. All right. Pressing towards the pink. And then I'm going to kind of show you a little trick, because you really want to make sure your seams line up there. That way you get good points. Like right here, see, look how good that point is. Okay. And if you don't get good points, might I suggest you just stop and take it out and sew it again. I mean, you're just spending all this good time. You want to make sure you're doing it correctly. All right, so now when I lay these pieces together, there, I thought I sewed them wrong. I did not. Okay, so now I'm going to start here at the corner. And I'm going to make sure that when I come here to the middle, that those seams are lined up. I'm going to check this one, make sure it's good. Yeah, there we go. Okay. You know how much I love a good chain piecing block. Okay, now I can already tell when I'm sewing this one that I didn't have it lined up right. So now I'm just gonna come back here, line it up, and I'm gonna actually start from the long end. I find that that seems to work a little bit better, helps keep your pieces the same size. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to press one way towards whichever side you want. I have some strings in there where my pieces. Okay, so look. Just want to make sure it's going to lay nice and flat for you. Okay. All right, so now we're ready to start building our block. Look how fast and easy this was. I mean, just such a great block. So now, because we put this little quarter square triangle here, it's going to give it a completely different look. So this is one of those dies that you can find at AccuQuilt, which is available on the AccuQuilt website, that allows you to change the colorway of thousands of patterns, including this one. So now I'm going to put right sides together here, make sure my seams line up. I want to make sure that that triangle matches where it's supposed to be. Okay. And again, just take your time. This is a really fun and easy block to sew. Okay, and while I'm doing that, we'll do this bottom one too. So the bottom one here, we want to make sure we're just going to add those squares to either side. Okay. Again, I'm just going to do a little chain piecing. And when I stop here on these rows, I'm going to give it a little back stitch because we're kind of getting to that point, right, where we're doing back stitching. Okay. So look, see, that's lining up right here. So now I can take this piece and come right here. Do the same. Okay, so we're going to add our square to the other side and to the other side of this. Oh, here, let's do this and then it will be even in the end. And we'll add our last square here to this side. And I'm going to look and see. Yeah. All right, we are almost done. So now I'm going to press my seams in the middle towards those outer pieces. Okay, so they're like this. And then I'm going to press these squares towards the middle. And again, I'm doing that so that my seams line up. And quilters ask me all the time, I never use steam. The reason is I find that steam sometimes distorts the fabric. You can use some of our fabric spray, an anti-static spray, if you want to. But while I sew, I never use steam. All righty. Oh, here's the top. All right, let's do our last two seams. Notice how everything is lining up. Make sure that you take the time to make sure that everything's working. Hey, and while I'm sewing this, we talked about AccuQuilt, which is a design tool at AccuQuilt. It's free, that allows you to change the colorway of thousands of patterns, including this one. But yesterday we launched a brand new for-purchase design tool called AccuQuiltable. It's available on the AccuQuilt website. And what it does is allows you to create new blocks and designs from the shapes within your cubes. I know, isn't that amazing? It's available from AccuQuilt.com. Check it out. On the 26th of this month, Ashley Jones from Dime, Design and Machine Embroider, is going to join me, and we're going to go over how to use this new design tool. Because quilters say that to me all the time. I have a pattern, I have a cube. How can I make it all work together? We're going to show you, okay? All right, so I'm going to sew this last row, this last seam. Again, you want to make sure you're sewing those 1/4 inch seams, and that when you sew over them, they're laying nice and flat. I really love this. This is the modern Enigma star die, or modern Enigma star pattern. It's a free pattern at AccuQuilt.com. I'm actually going to make mine with a few more blocks because I wanted it to be just a little bit longer. But that's the great thing, right, about bob dies, all right, is that you can just add more blocks, you can make less blocks. It uses setting triangles. This block finishes to a 10-inch block. So you're going to use the 10-inch setting triangles and the 10.5 finish to 10-inch squares that are built for the Go Big. All right, so now look at this. Look at how fun this block is. So I'm going to wait and take it and put it on my big iron so I can get a good press on it. But look at how cool that is. All right, so don't forget, if you have questions, you can throw them in the comments section and we'll try and answer them here in the next minute or two. Don't forget to join me next week. Hopefully there will not be a blizzard and Chris will be with me, and we're going to make a new fun project. Before we end today, we want to announce the winner of today's prize. So this person is going to win a Go Enigma star die. How do you register? Just go to the AccuQuilt website and register for events, and I just choose a winner randomly. So today's big winner is Norma M. from Sioux City, Iowa. Congratulations, Norma. I'm going to reach out to you and send you the new Go Enigma star die. All right, quilters, thanks so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. To learn more about your quilting craft, be sure to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for live events every Tuesday and Wednesday. You can check out the events page on the AccuQuilt website for more details on upcoming shows. And if you're looking for even more inspiration, visit our blog for exclusive tutorials filled with tips and tricks. And remember, at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time so you can quilt more.